Good morning. Everyone in the class is really, I hope, with this lecture that we are going to start on this last two modules, you would be able to like get as much learning as possible. And of course, I myself will also try to maximize the facility that we are using and uh, pace everything along the way to be able to connect with you in terms of the in terms of the lecture that we need to tackle. We are going to discuss only. I'm going to bring on the lecture in module 6 and of course module 7, which is almost like the last module that we need to discuss. Now, module 6 is on the introduction to the economics of information, and module 7 is the the economy and the role of the government. What's normally the case in terms of like how will the government act as the overall arbiter of the economic system, or almost like becoming a a sort of invisible hand that regulates the economy. Not really invisible hand because policies of the government are visibly uh, transparent, if we may call it, but invisible hand in a way that the government operates according to what is uh, fair and also what is logical in the normal functioning or workings of the market. So the government will not also do something that is uh, in accordance or not in accordance to the workings of the market, and most especially if public welfare is at stake. No, the government will always do something that will uh, uh, look into the balance between private profitability and society's welfare. So that is the role of the government. Now, in this particular lecture, I divided this lecture into three series. The first series is or series one. This is it, and this is purely devoted on uh, like devoted in terms of the what the I would say instruction and of course reminders. In fact, I'm going to announce something also in this recording. Uh, Almost all or almost everything here will be uh, an introduction of the lecture that we need to do in module 6 and probably module 7. But I would like to also emphasize that in the uh, in the exigency of delivering this lecture and in regards to the limited elements of time that we are available, the module 7 will be uh, um, will be delivered in abridged version. In other words, there will only be I will only make some general statements of the module 7, but I will give you the full length of the material. And then just to give you an overview of what module 7 is all about and the key points that we need to discuss on module 7, also I'm going to lecture on that. No? So um, the module 6 is all about, as I said, the economics of information, and then it will be uh, uh, it will be a material that really um, that will really give you an idea in terms of the no, the background that we have been discussing last meeting actually. We discussed on the uh, the various say for example, say pricing, or that is relatively game theoretic. Okay, pricing, we have discussed on pricing because normally pricing has two sides of the same coin. Okay, one is from the perspective of the consumer, and the other one is from the perspective of the buyer. Oh no, from the perspective of the producer. Okay, so you have consumer behavior and you have producer behavior, or relatively with respect to the firm. So that is why we need to look at pricing in terms of those two sides, and then and pricing also is the most like sticky part of the whole deal because it can really impact on your business model. It can impact on how you are going to make something on the no, on make your product more marketable, I would say. So especially in the Philippines, where we have an economic system where we need to really be considerate in terms of uh, the economic condition or the economic situation of our of our say customers or our demanders, so that we need to approach pricing from a deliberate and very uh, uh, delicate uh, background, I would say, no, so that at the end of the day, consumer or the buyers always are price takers, and not only price takers, they are price sensitive, no, price sensitive, so that very importantly, when pricing is relatively transparent in the market, or very it's a fair and square deal with respect to our customer. Now your pricing just fits into the real, say, consideration of the buyer, and you make a sell in the market, and then by making a sell, then you can actually generate just the required revenue that you want, that you are targeting. Now, pricing also, as we have said, pricing is the most critical decision because pricing normally is the economic decision variable that the either the buyer or the seller does not have the full control, because pricing is determined by the market. It's a market instrument. It's a market. It's manifested or expressed in the market. Okay, so that so that the behavioral side of the the pricing depends on the available information that is existing within a market transaction. But incidentally, and or might be unfortunately, or it's really the real workings of the market, perfect information is not always the case in the real business. Okay, perfect information, it's only in the books. These are only in the books. Why? Because it's almost like the the invisible regulatory mechanism that sets the market moving. Okay, so it's when we say price system, it's almost analogous to market system. Okay, so information is very critical. Now, there is a situation where you have, for example, our only approach in trying to understand the workings of the market or the workings of the price system is to really study on both extremes, as we have discussed that in module 4 and 5. The first extreme is when there is perfect information, when in the perfectly competitive market, what the producer know, also the buyer know. Okay, in other words, there is perfect information. Everyone has no influence in the market. That is an ideal situation because market is not always there. Even if even if gustuhin man ng ano, gustuhin ng either producer or buyer na perfect information, there will always be frictions in the market. Why? Because first, there are physical infrastructure that are not perfect in a lot of economic in a lot of economies. Like for example, in the Philippines, even if we want to, even if we want to communicate freely with our customers, with our producer, with our sellers, but there are physical infrastructure like available telecommunications infrastructure, roads, etc. These are unavoidable and really obstacle to finally agree on the perfectness or the completeness or the pureness of information that flows within the buyer and the seller. Okay, so that is one extreme. The other extreme is when there is full asymmetry of information. Okay, we studied the monopolist. Okay, how is price decided? How is price determined? Both in the purely competitive market and no, the purely monopolistic market. Now, this lecture in module 6, we are going to relax this assumption. Okay, meaning to say we relax this assumption and incorporate in our analysis the effects of imperfect information. When there is imperfect information, it creates uncertainty. Okay, it creates uncertainty, and when there it creates uncertainty, it will tempt. I would like to say it will tempt, or in a lighter term, it will coax any of the players to shirk. What is that? It will coax it will almost like incentivize in a negative way any of the players to cheat. In other words, you parang isahanin mo ang imong either buyer or ang imong seller. Because why? There is basically imperfect information, and then the 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 greediness of one's person in terms of really raking an obnoxious level of profit comes in, and that is going to be disastrous also in the market. But it's always like that. No, it's always like that. The game in the market, especially in a very underdeveloped market, is almost like a poker game. A poker. In other words, you understand what will your opponents do in case you are going to do this, something like that, or what will the buyer behave in case I will do this kind of strategy in the market, or what will the seller is going to do in case he knows that what I'm going to do also in the market, or something like that. So we need to relax this assumption and focus on what is really going on in the market in the real sense of the word, actual. Okay. Now, this is what we call as microeconomic situation where there is imperfect information. Okay, which is the most actively growing part of the microeconomy. Moment yun na, there is always imperfectness of information. So how to approach this kind of situation? There are tools, economic tools, that we can probably understand and become handy in terms of how we apply them. So what we need again in this module, first we describe what we really mean by uncertainty. When there is imperfectness of information, uncertainty comes in, and our job is to examine the impact of that uncertainty on consumer behavior and even on producer behavior. Okay, and there is uncertainty, we examine unsa man kay buhaton sa consumer, unsa kay buhaton sa producer, so that as analyst or as maybe as a player, you would also anticipate what's going to happen in the market. Then, after examining the market, we make a quick tour on some of the ways by which managers can cope with the risk. There is risk, or there is uncertainty, and there are also risk of losing, risk of shirking, risk of a lot of things. No, so what are the levels of risk that are possible in the and what are the associated consequences of that risk? That is what we call analyzing the dynamics of uncertainty. And then finally, in this particular module, we address some of the important implications of uncertainty. on the essential processes of the market, including other markets. Okay? Address some of the important implication. What will happen if this is going to happen, if it's uncertain, and you will also impact on other markets like input market or the product market or something like that. So what's going to what's going, because there are the 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 products available in the market are always are has some degree of interdependence, so that one product is having this kind of uncertainties, it will impact on another related products. Okay, so something like that. That will always be the case. No? So that is almost like the what? That is the kind of situation where you have what? You have the uh, entire what? Uh, concept of module 6, no? So that in module 6 we'll be able to understand the what we need to do in terms of our uh, say discussion. So next meeting, when I get on to this discussion, we will say discuss first on the tool that are important in understanding the asymmetric information or uncertainties in the market. The tool we can use, one is mean variance analysis, mean and variance analysis, and other tools we can make use. No, why do we need to use this, and what is the usefulness of this? Okay, so that is the introductory part of this module. This is series one. Another thing in this series one, I would like to devote this also on in terms of like making some announcements. Now, in the announcement here that I'm going to make is uh, to make like our our class, to make our class able to catch up, no? Able to catch up in terms of the other uh, coverage that we need to do. Remember, I have given you, I have given you last time the material, or now no, yeah, the material. I actually uploaded the material for module 6 on this. No, then another thing is that I have given you an assignment on uh, viewing, or long-term assignment, I may call it. I uh, I assigned you as required viewing that Korean movie or TV series on Startup, no? The Startup, which I think you have done it already. Please review them, because I will email to you. I will email to you the what the guide questions. No, now firstly, just for your review, no, so that you can review again, because you do not know what are some of my guide questions. But just to give you an initial, before I'm going to email the details, just review on the Nash equilibrium. Okay, somewhere on many of those episodes in that series, they mention about Nash equilibrium. What was, or what is the subject matter in the discussion, why they said Nash equilibrium, and what is what is the subject of that Nash equilibrium discussion that they are talking in that movie. Discuss that, and that will almost like be the main coverage of the entire assignment, so that you can have some, you can relate on some situations, and then you can also like understand better what do we mean by Nash equilibrium in terms of actual situation for managerial decision. Okay, so as I said, I will email to you the uh, the to each one of you. I will email to each one of you the guide questions, and please review. And I think it is on episode 9 to episode 15 or something like that, or maybe 15, uh, somewhere at the middle, because there are 20 episodes in that series. No, I think somewhere in episode 12 or up to 15, the discussion between the main actor and the proponents of that enterprise, IT enterprise, they're discussing about Nash equilibrium. Why? What is the subject uh, of that Nash equilibrium, say, discussion? What particular situation where are they talking when they said that it is Nash equilibrium? No? So that's very important. The other thing I would like to say, like emphasize also, as our one say announce as an announcement for this. This is series one. As I said, there are three series. The other thing is our exam. Okay, I will not be holding another face-to-face class. This is my last lecture of series three in a series for module 6, and one recorded lecture for module 7. It's very quick na ang module 7, because module 7 is relatively advanced in terms of your level, no, that it is advanced, but I'm going to just encapsulate everything and deliver it in chunks where it is easier for you at your level to understand why is it like that from the practical point of view, because there are concepts that will be introduced where you need to have a higher understanding in terms of advanced microeconomics, no, but its application is very simple and straightforward, no? That's one thing, no. The other announcement is that I'm going to give you um, like the final exam, final because it's going to be a long quiz for two modules. Module 6, uh, I think, yeah, module 5 and 6 actually, because one is 1 and 2, 3 and 4, and 5 and 6. Okay, and module 7, I'm going to give a bonus question for module 7. It's a bonus question. That means you may or may not answer that. If you answer, then that will be credited to as an additional score. If you don't understand, if you don't answer, it's okay, no problem. It will not be deducted against you. No, so it's a bonus question for you to have. If you like if you like to take an adventure in terms of researching those concepts in module 7, well and good. I mean, that's why uh, I will only give you some key points in terms of the sources of market failure in for module 7, but there's no required question for module 7, only a bonus question. Okay, so next meeting. So that is the exam, no? I'm going to give you an exam after after this week, next week, next week. That will be um, next Saturday. I think next Saturday, if I am correct, that is February 11th, no? Just before Valentine's Day. So uh, February 11th, no? Yes, I'm going to give you a long quiz, the last exam that I will give you. No? And then during that exam, when you pass your score or your question, I mean answers to the questions, you have also to pass the the capsule summary, or maybe a short summary, no? A short summary of the paper that I required you to write and also to view and analyze. Okay, don't need to read very long articulation. Maybe 1 or 2 pages, or as maybe you can just confine everything in 2,500 words is okay. No, 2,500 words is like uh, 1.5 page back to back. No? 1.5 page. That's 2,500 pages. I think so, no? Because 250 pages is an abstract for a journal article, and it's almost like one fourth of the, one fourth of the like A4 band paper, A4 size band paper. So if it's 2,500, it's almost like one and a half, no? Single space. If you can write double space, well, it's up to you. Basta 2,500 words. It's okay. Do not be so wordy. And it's the number of words 2,500 is enough to contain your idea already in terms of your being able to answer the questions and also articulate your ideas or thoughts related to the assignments. Okay, pass it ano, together with your uh, answers to the last quiz, no? Last or long quiz. Remember, a bonus question will be taken from Module 7. Okay? Now, uh, this is, as I said, a series. We will do what? We will do something. We will uh, I will upload in your account or in our Moodle classroom, uh, three series for module 6 and one series for module 7 within this week. No, within this week. And then next week, we will have the the exam, February 11th, hopefully. And of course, I will give you also your I will announce that the scores from your previous exam is already available. You can get it from my office. I'm going to announce that when it's going to be available. So with that note, I say thank you, and I'll I hope that you can say listen to this recording so that you would be guided in terms of what we need to do for this particular series of lecture. Okay, so thank you and uh, have a good day.